The waiver party's motion for judgment on the pleading has been granted in part and denied in part. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just practicing what I'm going to say when the judge actually does come back. Because if you don't think it's going to be granted in part, denied in part, you're tripping. And I'm here to tamper those expectations of yours if you think we're getting everything. Probably not. Either way, let me catch you up real quick. And I have a surprise for you. Stay till the end.
F around and find out. F around and find out.
Hello there, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of F Run and Find Out. I'm your host, Elsie, and I know you're exhausted, and you've probably heard from 11 people today telling you what a judgment on the pleading is. So I'm not going to waste your time telling you what it is or what it's not. Actually, I'm just going to give you a quick summary of what it is and what it's not. But I'm not going to waste your time reading all 32 pages, that had the docket, and break it down to you line by line. I'm going to give you a 5-minute, barely, summary. And then we're going to get to the other fun stuff that hit the docket. But the nerve of this judge, it's gossip time now. Just get in here, get closer. The nerve of this judge to grant the motion for Blake Lively and her people to depose this Mr. Greenstein and literally telling the Wayfair parties, make yourselves available at 8 a.m. And Blake's team gets to go first and they get 3.5 hours and you get 3.5 hours for their deposition. Where does he find the nerve, the gall, the vim, the vigor? All right, back up now. I'm beside myself. We're going to get into the judgment for the pleading, but real quick, let me catch you up on the goddamn disrespectfulness this judge is showing the Wayfair parties. I can't wrap my mind around it. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the craziness. All you need to know is this Mr. Greenstein works for Sony. He's getting deposed. The Wayfair parties asked to depose him, right? Blake's team says, we know you asked to depose him and you're paying for this depot and it's your depot, but we want to talk to him first. Where they do that at? Every lawyer on Beyonce's internet says, we've never heard of that. You don't get to ask to depose a witness that I brought on. Blake's team says, yeah, we want it. And they actually had the nerve to send emails puffing their chest asking for it. So Ellen Garofalo goes to the judge earlier today and says, Lively responded that her counsel would proceed their questioning at 8 a.m. Not only are they asking to talk to this man first, they want the Wayfair parties to be available at 8 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. The Wayfair parties are like, girl, this is our deposition. We're starting at 9. What do you mean be here at 8? Well, that's not our business. If you can't be here, that's your business. They actually found the nerve and wrote an email saying, Lively responded that her counsel would proceed their questioning at 8 a.m. with or without the presence of counsel. I'm sorry, you're going to start my deposition without me? And Ellen Garofalo is like, if you allow this, Your Honor, you're pretty much saying that testimony would be taken without somebody there for the Wayfair parties. Miss Lively would have the opportunity to run the clock with multiple extended breaks, leaving the defendants without any ability to fully depose a key witness, friending to Lively. Like this man is pretty much Team Blake. As noted, defendants have noticed that Lively can go first, subject to assurance that defendants will have their full 3.5 hours. Moreover, the priority concerns addressed by Rule 26D are not present here. Blah, blah, blah. I'm still not over the fact that I noticed a deposition. I say 9 o'clock. You say, yeah, no, I want to go first and I want to start at 8. Who the fuck is you? But we're the crazy ones for thinking that was unreasonable. Because just before y'all went to bed, if you did go to bed, well, I was up. This is what the judge said. Mr. Greenstein shall sit for his deposition on Tuesday, September 30th. Mr. Greenstein shall sit for his deposition on Tuesday, September 30th from 8 a.m. 8 a.m. The time Wayfair said they're not available, but Blake said she's available till 4:30 p.m. Okay. Plaintiff shall question first. Okay. And shall have 3.5 hours. Okay. No problem. This is your court, Your Honor. Obviously, I don't know anything. I can't say anything. You got it, Chief. You got it. Like I said earlier, the motion for judgment on the pleadings has been granted in part and denied in part. And that is me just preparing and rehearsing for what the judge is going to say. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. But that is exactly what he's going to say. Let's do a quick run through. I took some notes. You guys know I have my diary here with me. This is something Colleen Hoover needs to get and not a publishing deal, if she's writing for herself. But I digress. I have my diary here with me. And we're going to look It's not really a diary. It's a journal. Okay, it's not a diary. I don't have my deepest, darkest in here. This is notes for you guys, right? And I try to keep it to one page. That way I don't overdo it and talk too much because, yeah, I know I could go. Honestly, though, all jokes aside, please be prepared for the fact that the judge is going to grant this, judgment thing in part, denied in part. What exactly he's going to grant, I don't know. What he's going to give up, I don't know. I did talk to a couple lawyers, and I can give you what the feeling of the situation is about. But I did think of something earlier, and I was like, do you know how crazy it is that if you're Blake Lively, and I'm assuming SH is one of the things that's not going away, right? We can forget about it. SH is here to stay. But can you imagine being Blake Lively and you're suing this man for SH, but you are almost afraid for that to be the one that sticks around? And what I mean by that is, if retaliation goes away, right? If breach of contract goes away, which breach of contract is probably going to go away because you didn't sign no damn contract. And they're like, yeah, just fight your SH claims. Do you know how devastating that's going to be for Blake? What do you mean SH? I have nothing. I have nothing for that. I want to talk about the smear campaign. I want to talk about the retaliation. SH? What SH? She has nothing for that. Like, that is literally going to be devastating to her. We probably won't know that. It's not like she's going to come cry for us to see, but I guarantee you, if all she's left with is SH, that girl's going to be having a bad day. So anyway, we all know in total there are 13 claims, right? The main thing we have on there is going to be harassment, right? The alleged sexual harassment, the retaliation, the breach of contract, and the defamation. And I don't want to belabor the point. If you don't sign a contract, I can't breach the contract. Therefore, I can see that going bye-bye. The waiver parties are pretty much asking the judge to throw the case out, right? And the reason I say I don't want to go too deep in explaining what this is people were asking about summary judgment. This is not a summary judgment. This is pretty much like a dismissal. It's closer to a dismissal than it is to a summary judgment, even though the word judgment is in there. So a summary judgment would be closer to like, things would stay. We're going to talk about it. The judge is going to look at some evidence, blah, blah, blah. This is not that. This is like, we're trying to get the entire case thrown out if we can. But if we can't, it's not like a motion to dismiss where, it looks worse in public and there's more implications. This is like, still, let's sift through it. Let's see what we could keep. Let's see what is ridiculous, what doesn't meet, the criteria, what doesn't meet the burdens that it needs to meet to even be on your docket. So one of the first things we've all been harping on from the very beginning is this whole, you live in New York, you got a job in New Jersey, and you decided you're going to file a lawsuit in California. A lot of these things, California law doesn't apply to. This FIHA, for example, now I'm no lawyer, so I can't break FIHA down for you. What I can do for you is redirect you to my friend, Little Girl Attorney. She's a lawyer. She breaks down the FIHA thing, a lawyer in California at that. She breaks down the FIHA beautifully, so go listen to her. She could tell you more than I can tell you. But again, living in New York, working in New Jersey, filing a lawsuit in California, something is a little fishy there. Typically, judges are not just allowing you to do that on your docket, right? The other thing, any claim using the California law should be thrown out, right? Not just the fact that you shouldn't have even filed in California, but any claim citing any California laws or trying to use any California protections should be gone. I don't see all of them being granted, but there's a good chance some of them go away. There's also the argument that she didn't meet the basic legal requirements for some of these things. For example, the retaliation, you need to be able to show me that like your employer had the power to retaliate against you for speaking up, right? Which we've talked about this ad nauseum in this case, that typically whenever there's a retaliation or harassment or defamation, something like this at hand, we see a power dynamic where the director, in this case, Justin, would have been more powerful. And I'm talking monetary powerful. I'm talking about social status powerful, Hollywood powerful, have friends in low places, not high places, friends in low places powerful. Justin would have been the one in the position, the man, not because of his gender or anything, but as the director. Typically, that's how it works in Hollywood. And the actor would be a lowly whoever that just needed a job. In this case, it's completely the other way around. Blake Lively is not an actress that even needed this job, number one. And she most definitely is not somebody who was at the mercy of Justin Baldoni. And there is nothing here that indicates when you brought up, the claims against him or you raised your concerns against him, you were afraid for anything or you couldn't speak up. In fact, you feel very comfortable leveraging everything you claim happened for power on the set. It's not like you were kicked off the movie. It's not like you were in some hidey hole saying your lines and going home. In fact, you were puffing up your chest. to the bigger executives. You went above his head to say, I want this, I want that. I don't even want him at the premiere. I'm sorry, but point to me one time in the history of Hollywood where an actress is telling the director, the person with the rights to the goddamn project, not to be on the carpet, not to be at the premiere. It doesn't happen. So it doesn't work right there. So, I mean, regardless of what happens at the end of the day in this, we're going to probably get we're definitely going to get some claims that are thrown out. And then there are definitely going to be some claims that stick around. What I can tell you for sure is what sticks around and what doesn't stick around. Because again, I don't know enough about the law to make that determination. One of the biggest thing right now is the fact that Blake did not name It Ends With Us LLC, in her rights to sue. She only sued Wayfarer and Justin and Jen and everybody over there, but not It Ends With Us LLC. Whether that was an oversight, which I believe it was, I can confirm to you. But now, it's on her and her team to explain why they didn't. And the same way she's Blakeo Inc., is she now like a contractor, that was loaned out to Wayfarer and It Ends With Us LLC to do this movie? Or is she Blake that did the movie? It's a mess. And again, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't tell you the ins and outs of that. You need to go find a lawyer to listen to for that. I don't want to misinform anybody on anything, but it's confusing to even me, right? So I don't want to tell you what I don't know. One thing I can almost tell you is her claim about adverse employment action is bullshit, because where exactly is the adversity she's claiming? Count for adverse employment action would be your employer would have had to do something to harm you, right? Monetarily, reputationally, whatever. You'd have had to get fired. You'd have had to lose benefits. You'd have had to be just excluded from other opportunities, which you ended up getting a PGA credit that you don't deserve, right? You ended up being able to edit the movie, get your cut out there, even though you scored way lower, 12 points lower, right? You didn't have any negative changes in your responsibility. It's not like Justin was like, now you're not just the star of the movie, but go clean the latrine. Like nothing like that happened. So I don't know what adverse employment action she's referring to. That doesn't work here. So that probably goes away. I already told you guys, I'm trying to make sure we don't get all, burnt out and bored of each other and hearing the same thing 100 times a day. So I hope I was able to do a little justice to this ridiculous motion. I hope I was able to do a little justice to this motion. Tokyo Drift. Give it a second. Gone. I hope I was able to do a little justice to this motion and explain it to you, as best I could in layman's terms as somebody who is not a lawyer. That's the way I understood it to be. And it's also very late. I'm going to try to get a deeper understanding, a more broader explanation from some of my friends. And maybe tomorrow we can catch up again if I have, something that's new and fresh to bring to the conversation. I just don't want to belabor the point and tell you the 100 things people have told you all day today. But I appreciate you guys for being here. I did say I have a surprise for you, and here it comes. A lot of you who've been following me, supporting me from way back in January, February, March, April, around there would have been here for when I did my donation drive with Andy on his channel. At that point, I had like no followers. I had no subscribers. I didn't really have a lot. So it would have been difficult for me to host that on my own. So Andy was gracious enough to host. And the way you guys came through for me is something I can never forget. It's something I could never repay. Right now, the words escape me, but the point of this is to say thank you. We did the donation in April. It took about May to gather everything for everything to be delivered. Then it took a month and a half to ship. And then once it arrived, to pay the taxes to get it out of the port, it was like a week. And then the kids were out for the summer, so they're just now getting back to school and they're getting their stuff. So I have a couple of videos and some pictures to show you guys of where your things went, where your donations went. I didn't want you to think I'm like some crazy lady who took stuff from you and you never heard from me again. I just wanted to make sure I had the right timing, everything was together, and then you could see for yourself. So all this to say, thank you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your help more than anything. I don't care if, you guys don't want to watch my videos anymore or whatever, but please just stick around for when I have the Christmas donation so you can donate to the kids. That's all I really care about, honestly, is the fact that this community has been able to bring me people like all of you who were here at that time, who were able to support people who care enough to give anywhere from $1 to $100 to somebody you've never met to buy socks, underwear, medication, toiletries, whatever it is you supported with. It was appreciated. It was received. So this is some of the stuff that went to the rural schools, one of the rural schools. And you guys, it's you don't understand the language, so I muted and I'm talking over it. But to hear the way the headmaster is overwhelmed with gratitude, and these kids didn't know this was coming. Like there was no announcement. They just went to school and it just showed up, right? So imagine you not expecting something, but it's something you pray for, right? It's something you hope for. It's something you go to bed and you say a prayer for, and you guys are an answered prayer for these kids. So right here, they have to cross this little bank. If it rains, it rises, but typically it's on a low tide, and they have to take their shoes off, which they're typically wearing Crocs or no shoes or sandals or shoes that are 10 times bigger than them. And this is how they go to school. So what I'm doing for Christmas, aside from cooking for them, when I'm me cooking my grandma cooking for them, and which my husband and I normally send the money for that. We're gonna build a small bridge, just to go connect this little bank to their school, so nobody has to take their shoes off, to cross to go to school, and nobody has to worry about getting, something caught up in their foot or anything like that. So you guys remember we did the bags, that way I could individualize, because I really wanted to be there for it, and this was my way of being able to do something. Those are extra things they're gonna get, medication with each person got like a book, a coloring book, an exercise book, the loose leaf sheets, pens, pencils, colors, toys, little stuff like that. And then the orphanages, the kids. So these kids get to go home, right, to their families. The kids who got the medication, the fire blankets and everything I'm going to show you here in a second, they live at the orphanage, right? They live in a charity homes, so they don't get to go home to a family or anything of the sort. But this is to say thank you. Thank you, guys. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. I'm overtaken. There's more videos coming. So from now moving forward, each video we make for maybe the next 5 videos, I'm going to have new footage to show you guys. So come back to check out more. This video has my sister-in-law who went to one of the orphanages with the medication, some books, some underwear, everything, and the fire blankets and stuff. You can see the first aid kits.
It's a drug for allergy. Yeah.
Some of the Benadryl. You guys can see the vitamins on the table. If you pay attention, you can see the vitamins on the table on the back. Some of the Tylenol, the first aid kits, the fire extinguishers, the plates. So that's the fire extinguishers right there.
For the kids. And this is the puzzle.
Yeah, those are the blocks, the magnet, and you can see some socks, underwear on the table there.
Glass and socks.
Some of the backpacks.
God richly bless you. God richly bless you.
So they're saying thank you to you all. May God richly bless you. Amen. They're funny. You're going to notice a difference whenever you see some of these videos. Some of the kids are going to be well groomed, right? Well dressed, well manicured, well everything. They're definitely from a different group, a different class, but still very much need help, right? And then there are the kids who literally look like they need everything. They still need help. And then there are the kids who don't have a family, live in an orphanage. They still need help. So I don't categorize who needs help by just like who is in dire need. Obviously, certain things go to certain people, but everybody that can stand to use a book, they're going to get it from me. Everybody that can stand to use a nice watch, a nice pair of socks, anything, they're gonna get it from me. I don't as far as whenever I'm donating, I don't discriminate whether your parents can afford. I don't know exactly how to say it. It's not like whether your parents can afford it, but like I know their parents can afford it, but like they're breaking their backs to afford it, right? So if I can give your parents a break by handing you a few things, I'll do it. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. I don't overwhelm you guys, but I just wanted to say thank you. The things got to where they needed to get to. More videos to come, and I'm preparing to start my Christmas drive. I need to find a cost-efficient way to do it because this one, I received over 3,000 packages at my house. You guys saw the videos if you were around that time. It was a lot, and then I had to unpack everything. I had to undo everything. I had to pay extra for my trash because 3,000. I mean, think about 3,000 Amazon boxes, Amazon bags, whatever. And then had to repackage them, and then we had to pay to ship them, and then when it arrived we had to pay tax when it arrived. Because everything was new, we couldn't convince the government that we're not trying to start a store, right? And then there was multiple of certain things, so they thought like, are you trying to open a store? We're like, no, we're donating. But in the past when I've done this, I didn't have a community behind me. It was just me and my husband. We would fill like 4 suitcases and he would fly with them, so we never had to pay taxes. We never had to do anything. So we learned the hard way. Not to bore you with that. So for the Christmas drive, I'm working on trying to find the way that makes sense for me to do it and for you guys to also support. And I'll give you that information when I have it in about a week and a half to 2 weeks. I'm working on something right now, but I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support. I'm going to let you go. I hope the video was informative. I hope you got what you needed to get from me as far as, you know, your fix with the Blake Lively case. But most importantly, I hope you guys saw these videos and the impact you made on these kids' lives. And I'm telling you, man, the one book you bought, the one crayon, the 10 crayons, the 10 socks, the mosquito bracelets, whatever you bought, whatever you spared, I hope God gives it back to you 1,000 times fold. And I hope you never lack anything in your life. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you again for being here. I think we are at 25K. We were, but then a bunch of you unsubscribed. So we went back to under 24K, under 25K. So I didn't keep track anymore, but I think we are now officially 25K. So thank you for that as well. I appreciate you. See you on the next one. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Oh, and stop unsubscribing. If you are, double check and resubscribe. Thank you so much. Besitos. Bye-bye.